Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Toxic Masculinity, the least professional live stream on YouTube. How are you doing, Jason?
Good. It's been a crazy weekend.
I'm so little compared to you.
Yeah, the camera's a little closer to me now.
what's going on? Okay. All right. Well, okay, you can be a giant. I guess that's okay. We didn't talk about that, but okay. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, least professional show on YouTube. Maybe we'll do something like hold on.
So short.
Can we do something like this? That's better.
Oh,
That makes a little bit more sense.
wow. Good one.
All right. Well, we got man. Yeah. Whoa, hello. Okay, that's uncomfortable. No, there's you guys, there is a lot of news. There is a lot of news. You know what's weird is like it's very frustrating. I'm making videos that within a few hours become completely irrelevant. So I'm making these videos and I'm like, I gotta just throw this video away. It's like 2 weeks worth of work and it's like done. I posted a video today that not getting any traction. It's probably my least successful video, maybe of all time, because they've got this Cheadle thing going on. This they had that going on, and then also you obviously have the news that Kamala Harris is now the vice president. So I'm just trying to figure out which video to post because it takes me time to
yeah, because it was Trump, right?
Right. It takes me time. Yeah, it takes me time to check out the news, come up with an idea for a video, write the video, shoot the video, edit the video, and the news is moving so fast right now. I mean, it's so crazy. So I can't really get anything out. But the last video I made, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. The whole concept of the video was that the Democrats basically created Donald Trump, which is such a huge irony. They for years they lied about Trump. And I think slowly over time, people started to see the lie, right? They were like, oh, the left is being a little disingenuous here. Like the left is maybe not as honest as we thought, even people who trusted the mainstream media are like, this is a little bit much. And it sort of culminated in this shooting, which if you believe the lone shooter story, which to me is the most innocuous version of that assassination attempt, even if you believe that, well, the media and the Democrats in Washington are still complicit because they've been lying about Trump for years, saying that he's a fascist, saying he's going to be a dictator, saying he's going to start World War III, all this kind of stuff. And you don't think that if it was a lone shooter, you don't think that would have got into his head? You don't think that may be partially why somebody might try to take a pot shot at Donald Trump? So this idea that in my mind, this idea that the Democrats sort of caused all this really potentially culminated in this assassination attempt. And the funny thing is, I wrote the script, I expressed my ideas on the show, I edited it together, I posted it, and only afterwards did I realize I didn't actually connect those two things at the end of the video. I talk about basically what the Democrats did to demonize Trump all these years and how the public started to see through it over time. But it didn't, for some reason, at the very end of the video, I didn't say, I explained about the shooting, but I didn't say, oh, and this guy's brain might have been corrupted by this Democrat propaganda, which was the entire point of the video. It's funny. Sometimes you're writing something and you think something so obvious that it doesn't occur to you to say it blatantly. And so I'm sitting there, I post the video. I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't think I actually made my final point. But anyway, that was the final point. If you've not seen that video, I highly recommend it. It's a good video, even though it's not doing very well. Today's a tough day, I think, to get eyes on us. I don't think it's going to be a very populated show in terms of viewers, and I don't think a lot of people are going to watch the video that I posted just because there's so much other things to watch right now.
Yeah.
This Cheadle chick is an absolute lunatic. She's obviously the whole thing seems just like a total cover up at this point. She's not answering any of the questions. She didn't answer a single question. I don't know. What was your initial takeaway from that whole thing?
Oh, it's it's wild. I hear everybody saying she needs to resign. She needs to be fired. Forget that. Resign. She needs to be thrown out.
Yeah,
but they
the
won't
problem is it's the Biden administration. They don't fire anybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. I like, but there's no accountability to anybody in that administration. They all keep their jobs no matter what. Because everything's going according to plan. That they're doing according to their plans, and so why fire people that are just doing their job that they're supposed to do, right?
MMA Fix just jumped in. He says Biden pulled out, so I lost the bet. Here's the 500 I owe you. Make sure Kurt gets his cut. 500 cents, I think, is what we got. That's hilarious. Yeah, sorry, go on.
But like the way it's wild. Like well, if she resigns or if they fire her, then it's gonna be it's like guilty written all over her, you know. So they can't. But it's it's looking more and more crazy. Though. Like she can, but then these people, they have like, they think these positions and stuff, they deserve it, that they should be in it. Like any wrong that they do is not their fault, you know. So yeah.
There used to be a little something called integrity. People used to have integrity.
Yeah.
And they would say, okay, you know what? I'm going to take responsibility for this. This is my responsibility. I'm going to acknowledge that I dropped the ball here. I'm going to step down and let somebody better. It's funny. Somebody asked her, like, I think this was fairly early on. They said, are you the best person for this job? And she goes, yes, right now, I think I am the best person for the job. Obviously not. Obviously not.
Exactly.
Nobody believes that, but you flipping loon.
Go into the toxic masculinity thing on Signal and get your X post. It sums it up perfect right there. Like what a normal person would actually do.
That you sent us.
It's you have I have posted one of your X posts there.
Oh, is this the Libs of TikTok one? Which one is it?
Yeah.
Is it
no,
the
it's
one
yours.
where the guy's
it's from you? It's from you.
I don't have any that you sent me. Hold on. Let me look real quick.
It's right in the bottom. It's like second to last.
Okay. I missed that one. All right. Yep. All right. We got it. Present. I don't even know what I'm looking at, folks. We're going to find out in a second what I posted on X.
This sums up everything perfect.
Too humiliating. I wrote, this is brutal. I love it. Oh, yeah. This was absolutely crazy because this is Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is a Democrat. Ro Khanna is like one of like the AOC, like the squad people. This was just absolutely a brilliant little discourse, little exchange here. Let's go ahead and play this.
Awful event. Now, Director Cato, would you agree that this is the most serious security lapse since President Reagan was shot in 1981 of the Secret Service?
Yes, sir, I would.
And, do you know what Stuart Knight did when he was in charge at the time of the Secret Service? You know what he did afterwards?
He remained on duty.
He resigned.
Jeez.
And Stuart Knight was not a Democratic appointee or a Republican appointee. Look, I'm not questioning your judgment. I am awful of it.
Well, he should question your judgment.
No self-awareness this woman has. Like the normal thing to do is just resign. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if you did everything that you were supposed to do. I would still resign because it's still a failure no matter what. Any little thing that passes through that was an attempt on a president's life, you fail at your job, and I mean, have some humility and just freaking resign.
Right. Yeah. It's okay. So look, this woman was a DEI hire, obviously. And when I say DEI hire, I don't even mean that she was brought in because they wanted to bring in more women. I don't even think they care about that, actually. The reason she was brought in is because they wanted to appear to bring in more women.
Yep.
And it didn't even occur. I don't even think it occurred to them that this is the kind of job that you really cannot give to somebody who's unqualified. And it's become very trendy these days to hire women as police chiefs. it's become very trendy to hire women in all aspects of law enforcement, especially in the administrative part of it. And here's the thing about the administrative part of it. I think people go, oh, they're in an office. They're essentially doing bureaucratic stuff. That's not something they're not like on the ground holding a gun, even though you do have women in those positions as well. So it's okay because they're not actually having to lift heavy objects and do things that, men can do better than women, in a very objective way. But here's the point, and I may have mentioned this on the last live stream. I can't remember. I've definitely said it. What law enforcement is at the end of the day is controlled violence, controlled acts of violence. What you're trying to do is you're trying to say, okay, the society that we live in has people who break laws. And in order to stop those people from breaking the laws, sometimes they need to be controlled, physically restrained. And sometimes that physical restraint comes in the form of just an arrest or maybe even a citation or a warning. And the citations and the warnings, we say, well, a woman can handle that, right? So we put women in the field. But the problem is that that's not the only thing that women have to do in the field if they become an officer. They also have to shoot people sometimes, right?
Sometimes wrestle with
sometimes
people,
wrestle.
grown men.
But I'm saying like the ultimate form of violence, taking someone's life, right? And men have been conditioned to do that for thousands of years, millions of years. We have evolved into these killing creatures, right? And good men use that ability for good, right? To defend innocent people, to defend their wife, their children, whoever it might be. Bad men use it, obviously for evil, to, selfish reasons, to get what they want, whatever, desperation. And so we need to hire the good men to stop the bad men. That's what we have to do. The women are irrelevant. The women don't even come into it, okay? Can a woman present a citation? Yeah, okay, I suppose she could. But why are we putting them in a position where they actually have to conduct acts of physical violence against people, first of all? Secondly, why would you have a woman heading up that kind of a group of people where they have to be in charge of men that are conducting acts of violence? You should never do that. You should never do that. To me, that is the sign of a degenerate culture. A culture that believes in fairy tales, believes in fictions. Okay, they believe in this fiction that men are just, women are just as good at everything that men are good at, and there's no difference. Well, there is actually a difference. All right, we've seen the consequence of having, and that's the crazy thing. It's not just that she's in charge of the department.
Yeah.
You actually had women there protecting Donald Trump physically. One of whom was too short to actually block him from getting shot potentially, and another one who couldn't even holster her gun, so she pretended to be like, holding it at the ready. Oh, she was like an ugly versions of Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, you know what, Chris? A whole generation has been programmed and brainwashed by Hollywood and TV to think that. But you know what's funny? You know what's great is that generation is realizing and waking up to the fact that was all false. They're realizing it's not true. We can see it now. We can see the results of that programming and brainwashing, and it's in work right now. It's in work, and we're seeing it fail all the time. So this is I'm a pessimist. I'm optimistic again, Chris. Like I said, things just got to get bad. You see, it was all the things that are happening are kind of working in our favor. I mean, it's waking people up.
I mean, that's the video that I just made. Essentially, I mean, I just made this video detailing all the nasty things that the Democrats did to Donald Trump, and now look at what's happened to Donald Trump.
Yep.
He is the most popular he's ever been.
Yeah,
he's got mythical hero status. He is considered to be an American legend at this point. The man is as popular and as, viable a candidate as he has ever been. He will absolutely 100% for sure win the nomination. I actually have a friend who works for the campaign, and I texted him and I said, what does the campaign think about this? Joe Biden dropping out, Kamala Harris jumping in, and hold on a second. Oh, yeah, I wrote specifically, How is everyone? Positive or a bit deflated? Like, what are they thinking? Is it good news or is it bad news that we got Kamala in here? And he wrote, I think Biden would have been the easiest person to beat, so it's a bit of a bummer. But he also wrote this. This is crazy. I think it's exciting. So I don't think that, and I just said this on Newsmax. I was just on Newsmax today, and I said exactly the same thing as I'm saying now. I don't think that the Biden administration is that, or the Biden administration. I don't think the Trump campaign is that upset that they've switched from the Biden administration to now the Kamala campaign. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't. To me, it's like they had all their guns on Biden, and they just went, "Oh, I guess we got to do this." Whew. So they just pivoted slightly. I don't really think I don't think Kamala's any more difficult, really, actually, than Biden. I know he said Biden would have been the easiest, but by a hair.
Well, now they got to work 24 hours a day to get those ballots with Kamala's fillings there. They got to work 24 hours a day now to get those millions.
They've got to erase all Joe Biden.
The other thing is, like, it's funny that you say that because if they would have just ignored Trump, like after they cheated, if they would have just ignored him, not charge him with anything, just let him go,
it would not
I think
be
it would be a
anything
different story
like
right
the
now.
mythical hero that he is now. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say in the video that is not popular at all, sadly. But yeah, no. Look, Kamala, is she a little bit better than Joe Biden in the sense that she can actually like walk? I guess. She can walk, but she still talks like a lunatic. Like, I'm actually compiling a video right now. This is going to be great. Okay, I'm doing a video, Jason. I'm not just doing a compilation video. I am doing a compilation video. I will post the compilation video up at some point. But the reason I'm making the compilation video right now is because I'm going to take it to people, because I'm in a place that's very international. We've got a lot of Russians here. We've got Germans. We've got British. We've got South Africans. We've got people from all over the world here where I happen to live. So I'm going to take this video to people who maybe don't know that much about American politics. I'm just going to have them watch clips of Kamala Harris.
That's good.
And I'm going to say, just give me your honest reaction to what Kamala Harris is saying here. And I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know. I may not be able to post this video because people might be so confused by what Kamala is saying that they're just like, there's no reaction. We'll see what the reaction is. I'm hoping for a good reaction from these people. But it's going to be interesting it's going to be interesting for me anyway, just to see how people respond to Kamala Harris and what she says, because Kamala Harris says some absolutely idiotic things. I mean, the woman is oftentimes incomprehensible. Do you remember for a while she was saying this stuff that was like super infantilizing to people? Like she was on some black radio show and they said, break down the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. And she goes, okay, so Russia is a country and Ukraine is another country right next to Russia.
Yeah.
And Russia's a very, very big country and Ukraine is a much smaller country. And you're like, who are you talking to? You're not talking to infants. What the hell is this? And she did that multiple times, and she got like really lambasted for it in the press, and so obviously she had to pivot. But oh my gosh, this woman! I mean, honestly, like if I had to choose, like they said, okay, Biden's dropping out. Chris, you get to choose the replacement to ensure a Trump victory. Who are you going to replace Biden with? I would pick Kamala.
Yes, of course, and
I would pick her.
But they know that they know that too. Like they know they're going to lose, so they're going with her.
Well, that's what I've been saying. I wrote this on Twitter. I've been talking about this. I suspect that it's possible that the reason they picked Kamala is because nobody else wanted to do it. Everybody else was basically like, you want me to run against Trump, who just survived getting shot in the head and rose up with his fist in the air, defiant of those who would kill him? I don't think so. I think Gavin Newsom's like, you know what? Give it to Kamala. We're good. We're good here.
Yeah.
Hillary. You know what? Maybe in 4 more years. Maybe 4 years.
I think Hillary might decide to go for it. She's that like
I know that's your theory.
crazy.
That's your theory.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I'm
actually,
not saying
Sebastian
because
Gorka was
the deep.
annoyed at me for Sebastian Gorka was annoyed at me for tweeting that because he was like, look, I don't know if they're because I was calling her a sacrificial lamb. I was calling Kamala Harris and somebody called her a sacrificial cam, which I thought was quite funny because Kamala, But and by the way, on Newsmax they asked me because like somebody had suggested, I think it was Mika, Joe Scarborough's wife, had suggested that if you don't call Kamala, you don't pronounce her name exactly correctly, that it's all part of the systemic racism. You're intentionally trying to be racist against her.
They're going to go full force with the racism thing now. Now that they have her running.
So I made the point that, you know what, I do think that we do, she does deserve a little bit of respect. Carmela does. And we should all pronounce Carmela correctly from now on.
That's how you pronounce it?
No, I'm saying it wrong. Good Lord, man.
No, you got me. You got me. I'm like, because you don't know these people. But you don't know these people. They always change their names. They always make their names sound different, They always change their personalities.
The delivery was a little dry, I admit. But man, it's not a particularly good joke, but I thought for sure you'd just immediately laugh at me for calling her Carmela.
The problem is with these people. The problem is with these people, I never know.
That's true.
I never know.
That's true. She could have come out in the last couple of days and said, "My name is pronounced Carmela, and if you're not saying it that way, you're a racist."
Yeah,
she could have done that.
Exactly.
So that is strongly possible.
Because any joke you make towards the left now, it's like, wait a minute, are they being real or is this a joke? You don't know anymore.
Well, from now on, I'm going to call you Jason because, as you well know, I hate the Cuban Americans. So I'm an evil racist. Jason.
Jason, I'm an American, so
actually.
But I'm an American, though.
Yeah, but according to the left, I hate you. So,
I know.
But no, Jason sounds cool. Actually, if I every time we started the show, I go Jason. I think people would like that. I think that should be.
It's funny because I'm considered brown to the left. I'm a
you're whiter than
color,
I am.
and I'm whiter than you. Yeah, exactly.
Lighting. Maybe not with this lighting, but my mom just caught you on Newsmax watching Seb for a bit when suddenly you came on TV. So my parents just by some chance saw me on television just now. That's quite funny, actually.
They'll watch that, but they'll never watch the show, right?
I don't think they even know I do this show. Let's see here. Big Lou 85 jumps in. He says Kamala is not officially the pick, if I'm not mistaken. The DNC gets to pick Joe, and Joe just cannot appoint her. No, you're right, Big Lou. However, Joe would have been told who the nominee is. Like, I don't think Joe did pick her. I think somebody else picked her.
Yeah, of course.
And Joe was just told.
By the way, where is Joe? We need a proof of life. I know. What's going on
that's
here?
The big joke. That's the big joke on Twitter right now. Everybody's going like, "Are we sure Joe Biden's still alive?" Because we just have this like, yeah, they're basically saying that the announcement that was posted to X is not sufficient to indicate that Joe has gone along with this. Mm-hmm. It seems like if somebody were to be kidnapped and a ransom were demanded, this letter would not be sufficient for proof of life. Like this is like, how do we even know Joe wrote this? It was just posted to his X account, which he doesn't even run. He's never, I don't think he's ever tweeted out anything himself personally. It's his like Twitter girl intern. So what the hell's going on? He's not come out. He's not made a statement on television. So we don't know actually. And he certainly didn't sign that thing. Somebody forged his signature, obviously, or copied and pasted.
I think his wife and I think his wife and what's his name, the son. What's his son's name? Hunter. I think his wife and Hunter are there, bunkered down, saying no, we're not gonna do it. And they just kind of cut everything off, and they're just have them held.
Joe
there,
Biden's in the basement, but he's not not hiding in the basement. He might be tied up in the basement. A lot of people are saying that Joe Biden's going to be really surprised when he wakes up from his nap and finds out he's just dropped out of the race.
I posted that on. I have it there. I think you just show it.
That's great. Yeah. Trump said something about how we haven't heard from Joe yet. He may forget tomorrow that he dropped out today. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
never
the
know with
first
Joe.
one.
And I posted something like, well, that's if they even told him that he was dropped out already. So let's go ahead and look at the Babylon Bee thing you've got here. No, not that one.
The first one. First one.
Yeah, the first one. There we go. Oh, this is crazy. No. What,
No,
should we
but
do
that's
this?
not-
Should we do the crying guy?
Well, show the Babylon Bee one first.
Ugh.
That's
why
what we
you
were
gotta be
just
so
talking
difficult?
about.
Why do you got to demand? The thing is, I don't necessarily have these in the correct order. How does it start out? What's the first? Biden wakes.
The first post for Monday.
I know you keep saying the first, but I don't have it in order, so that doesn't help me. Is the Biden wakes one?
That's the Biden wakes
okay.
one.
All right, Biden wakes up from nap, asks if he missed anything. Yeah, that's I didn't have time to look at these because I just got off Newsmax, so that's pretty funny. Okay, let's share the next one. What do we got going on here?
The next one's great.
Is another Babylon Bee?
Yep, yeah, that's a good one. I love that one. That one's my favorite.
In most popular move of the presidency, Biden quits. That's his most popular move. Oh, by the way, I keep telling you to do this and you don't listen to me. You've got to just look through my Twitter and post all my tweets.
Here we go, people.
You don't have to post them all, but post the good ones. Hold on a second. So this is a pretty good tweet, I think. I know. What do you mean, here we go? What does that even mean? What does that mean, here we go?
The most unprofessional live stream you'll ever find.
That's right. I'm reposting your stuff for you. And
oh yeah, thank you. I was getting some good feedback on that.
I know, good numbers. That's right. Yeah,
but you know what's weird about X? You'll get in some posts I've gotten 5,000 views but never anybody follows. It's the weirdest thing.
That's sad. Hot Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company, $2 says, "Sup, bitches." Well, what is up, Hot Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company? We always like to see you here on the show. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and post this thing, which I thought was genius from the Federalist. I wrote, "The perfect headline doesn't exist," and then the headline is, "After firing himself, Biden still won't fire Secret Service chief," which I just thought was genius because this is a legitimate, news company. This is not the Babylon Bee. But what's crazy is their headline is hilarious because it's accurate. This is an accurate headline, but it reads like a Babylon Bee headline. That's the crazy thing about that. I thought that was just brilliant. Anyway, that was the one was kind of a little bit buried, so maybe you didn't see that one. But so again, I ask you, Jason, what do you mean? Here we go. Anyway, all right. So let me go. Okay, he's not even paying attention at this point. ADD has lost him.
I am
into the ether. All right, let's look at this. Joe Biden doubts. Let's see here. Doubts Harris's chance of beating Trump. Yeah, this is an interesting story. Did you read this?
Yeah, so let me open it up.
Joe Biden doubted whether, and I actually heard this on the news. They were talking about this. Doubted whether Vice President Kamala Harris can defeat President Donald Trump before he decided to step aside on Sunday. 3 Biden aides familiar with the recent talks about his plans told Axios. Biden's fear underscores the contrast between the lack of unity in the Democratic Party compared to the Republican Party unity heading into November. But it's not just Joe Biden. I don't even think Joe Biden really is part of the conversation.
But the important paragraph in that article was this one. Those not immediately backing Harris include former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if things change, but during this article, that's what. And then House Democrat Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and former President Barack Obama. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, Obama admitted in a statement. But I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. See?
I know, yeah. So Barack Obama hasn't even endorsed her. Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. man.
I think there might be a surprise in it's the convention when they decide, right? In their
Exactly.
convention.
Yeah. You think
So
they're
I
gonna
think
pick
there might-
Hillary?
yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I think there's going to be people that are going to want Hillary, or somebody else, but I think Hillary's going to go for it. I think she.
Well, you know how I
think
always say that the Democrat, like the deep state, is split between those who thought that they needed somebody who could win and those who thought, well, Joe Biden is the perfect puppet. You know, why would we replace the perfect puppet? You know, so this is how I think it's split now. This is my theory. Okay, you've got those who want to bring in somebody who can win, and I think that they insanely, this is completely mental, but I think that they think that that person is Kamala Harris. And the reason they think that person is Kamala Harris, and I'm not joking, is because it is a woman of color, right? Because they really think that women are going to get behind. And Grant, I will give you this. I think there is an initial sort of enthusiasm for Kamala right now, right? Because it's just a new thing. It's a change. It's interesting. She's a woman of color. That's an exciting thing for people. I think that enthusiasm is going to die off within like a few hours. I think that's going to be gone by tomorrow. Even I think it's already fading away because you have this hearing, which dominated the news today. But yeah, Kamala Harris. How can you be enthusiastic for her? She can barely flip and speak. She's like the chick from Veep. She had the worst. She had the worst approval rating of like anyone ever in the history of politics. She was worse than Joe Biden. Nobody liked her. Not even black women liked Kamala Harris, really. I mean, they didn't higher numbers than any other group, but still.
My thoughts on it is the deep state wants Kamala to be the nominee because they know they're gonna lose.
Let me finish.
Can I finish my thought? Go ahead.
No, because I wasn't finished with my thought. So I think that they believe that Kamala Harris is the most that has the highest potential to win. Now, I do think there are people, like you say, I do think there are people who think, well, we just need to throw somebody in there who's not like whose reputation doesn't matter because in 4 years we got to run again and we don't want to like lose any of our good, like our heavy hitters, our good people, of course. So they're just going to throw her to the wolves. I think there's some people who think that, but I do think that there is a contingent who still believes that they need to bring in the best puppet possible. They do think that they can steal the election effectively. And I believe those people want Hillary because I posted this a few times on my show. There's a video from Patrick Byrne where he details, and I have a friend who knows Patrick Byrne, and I've talked to him about this, and he says this guy is 100% legit. This is truly what happened to him. Patrick Byrne said that the FBI approached him and said, look, like Hillary Clinton has taken some bribes from foreign actors. We need you to record her taking one of these bribes. He did this. A few weeks went by. He discussed with his FBI people. He's like, I've not seen in the news they've arrested Hillary. What's going on? They said, oh, we're not going to arrest her. The reason we wanted to get evidence of her taking a bribe is because we want to install her as president and then control her from behind the scenes. Right? That's how it's going to work. We're going to put pressure on Hillary anytime we want something done, and she's going to do whatever we tell her. That's the reason we got dirt on Hillary. So that's the same thing that they did with Joe Biden. So they control Hillary, okay? So that's why I think that your theory holds water, is that there's certain people behind the scenes that want Hillary because she is second only to Joe Biden, the perfect puppet. She's another perfect puppet.
Yep.
Now, Kamala, I don't know if she's such a perfect puppet, but there's two reasons to keep her in. One, I do think there are people that are delusional enough to think a woman of color is somehow beneficial to them and their only chance of winning. And then, my theory, like, you and I have talked about before, is that they do need a sacrificial lamb. They need somebody who they can just throw to the wolves so that the rest of that it sort of preserves, all of their other potential candidates for after Trump's done. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to get that all out.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think Kamala is the perfect puppet. The only problem with Kamala is that she's dumb. That's that's the only thing. Like.
Well, I don't know if they have a ton of dirt on her, do they? I mean, what's the worst you can say about?
I think they do.
Somebody who came up through sleeping with men to try to become successful. I mean, we all know that's like out in the open already.
Who knows what else she's done? I think Hillary is like, Hillary at least has brains. She's intelligent. She can manipulate well. Kamala just doesn't have it for that. I don't think she has it. She was just picked as a like you said, as a minority woman of color.
She's a DEI hire.
Yeah, I think the deep state wants her to run only because they know they're going to lose, even if they cheat. I don't even think they're going to. I don't even think they think they're going to win even by cheating. So my theory is and I think there's another side to like the Civil War. There's other Democrats that actually would put Hillary in that's fighting against them, and I think it's like big donors and stuff like that. But my other theory is that, like, they're going to let the 4 years go. Trump's going to be president. This is the best scenario because the worst scenario is if they attempt to do another attempt on Donald Trump's life. But if the best scenario happens, I think after the 4 years, the Democrats are going to reorganize their whole party, And I think in 4 years, it's going to be no one over the age of 60 will be running for president. They're going to reorganize themselves. They're going to say they're the party of the youth, the young, the new generations, and they're going to change their whole, and then they're going to blame everything on Biden and Kamala. It was their fault. Everything was their fault. They're going to throw them under the bus. They had no part of that. And yeah, but that's my theory.
I think it's a good theory. I think you're spot on. I think you're absolutely right there. I'm a little bit jealous I didn't come up with the theory myself. Damn you, Jason. I'm supposed to be the smart one on the show. All right, so my mother has chimed in here.
Thank you, Chris. I know you're just trying to make me feel good, but
no, man, you've had us a couple of good theories. We got in a little bit of an argument there because he was like, because Jason was like, there's some news now that the big donors are a little bit concerned that Kamala Harris might be an incy-wincy bit too far to the left, and it might make her unelectable. And what's funny about that was, and he was like, just as I predicted, he had posted this. I'm like, stop saying you predict everything. It makes you sound like an arrogant a-hole. You're making the show look bad.
He chewed me out. He's like, what are you doing?
I did. And then he writes me back. He's like, but I predicted. And I go, yeah, well, we all predict things. We don't like always brag about it all the time. And then he sent me a tweet, which is funny because I actually retweeted it and I forgot that you tweeted this. He posted a tweet that he had posted like just right before that article came out.
A few hours,
specifically predicting that big donors would think that Kamala Harris is unelectable. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's right. You did tweet that. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
but you didn't say what you wrote. You didn't say what you wrote. Like people that always saying they predicted things are what, narcissistic what?
No, I didn't say that they were like that. I said they were perceived to be like that.
Yeah, and I was like, but I am.
I don't.
No, but
something.
But yeah, but the Democrats are definitely gonna like try to perceive them, try to act like they're moderates after the 4 years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that was really a spot on prediction, and I just wanted to online mea culpa. That was brilliant. But my mother writes, just caught you on Newsmax watching Seb for a bit when suddenly your visage came on. And I wrote, that's awesome. How did I do? And my mother writes, I'm not joking. My mother writes, you did good. At one point you were staring straight ahead, no emotion. I got a little scared because it reminded me a teensy weensy bit of Joe. Thanks, Mom. That's a good bomb there for you. Now you guys know what I grew up with.
Moment. That's funny.
Yeah. JD Vance thought he had it bad with his drug addicted mother. I've got this one. It's funny because like sometimes I'll watch these people that are on like these reality shows, like cooking shows, and they're like, I couldn't have done it without the support of my family. My family's always told me to follow my dreams, and I'm like, my family has not. I'm like, my parents were like, why are you trying to do something so crazy? Like, that's not what you are not going to be successful doing that. Why would you even try? Do something smart. Like, why are you doing something so stupid?
Yeah, my father was very supportive and all that stuff, but him knowing that I wanted to get into like film and stuff, he would always bother me. He would always be like, Jason, La La Land, and it would get to my bones.
And Jason, neither of us are successful in the film industry.
Exactly.
So our parents were totally right. All right, let's have a look here. So, Hop Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumps in. He says, you know who's going to vote for Kamala Harris? Maxine Waters.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Maxine Waters just died. That's why that's funny. Okay. Oh no, it wasn't Maxine Waters. Was it Maxine Waters who died?
Yeah. It was her. No, wasn't it Jackson?
No, it was somebody else. It was yeah.
Sheila something Jackson.
I think that's supposed to be the joke, though. Yeah, Sheila Jackson is the one who died. Sorry. They're easy to get confused because they're both insane black women.
But Maxine Waters looked like she's half dead, so
she looks like she's gonna die any day now. All right.
We don't wish that. We don't wish that. Hope she has a long life, but she doesn't look it.
William Jefferson Clinton has chimed in. It's nice to know that the Clintons watch the show.
Yeah.
He says,
"Oh no, we should be worried. We should be worried."
They have dirt. I know. We're gonna arcanicide us. He says Jason literally just looked behind him. They have dirt on Kamala from casting couch stuff. Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about. But all that stuff's kind of out, though, isn't it? Like, we know that she's basically prostituted herself out for her various jobs in her life. So we know that already. I don't think that's going to be that damaging.
Oh, but it's a talking point now for Democrats. They're like using that against conservatives now, like they're saying, and Republicans. They're like using that as you condone rape and this and that and misogyny.
Well,
and you're
allow them to continue talking about it.
Yeah,
they can talk about it as much as you keep bringing Kamala Harris casting couch stuff. You guys, you just keep bringing that up. MMA Fix jumps in. He says, "I would never imply that the government implements affirmative action, but another black woman just took a white man's job." That's quite good, actually.
That proves that proves there's no systemic racism. Look,
no, it proves there is systemic racism, but not the way they think.
The reverse systemic racism.
No, it's just systemic racism, just against white guys. Yeah. All right, so we got Big Lou 85 jumps in here. He says, "A family that picks on each other is a close family." Yeah, it's true. My family's that's the great thing about my family is like they're really not that supportive. I mean, literally, they're not that supportive. I mean, of my nieces and nephews, they definitely are. But I don't know what the hell happened between when I was a kid and now. But my family's way more supportive now. But yeah, growing up, my family was never really, I wouldn't call them supportive at all. But you knew that they loved you. Like you knew my parents loved all of my siblings. Not maybe me so much, but the sibling stuff. Hoff Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company, $2. He says, "Yeah, the Lee lady, my bad." Okay, yeah. So he is mentioning Sheila Lee Jackson. Is that her name? Yeah. Sheila Jackson Lee. Okay, Jackson Lee, right? She was not popular enough for us to remember her name, sadly. Although I do remember her saying some crazy stuff back in the day. Big Lou 85 jumped in again. He says, all dead Democrats will vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of dead Republicans, probably. Yep. That's the really sad thing. All right, let's jump into the next story. What do we got? This is the Cheadle thing.
Yep.
Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle calls assassination. God dang it. The ads on Breitbart are literally the most annoying.
I don't know why your ad blocker is not blocking it because I never get those.
Let's see here. Do I have some kind of ad blocker? See, it's on.
You need to go. You need a Firefox or something. That's a better browser.
Block ads on this website. Yeah, I know, but all right. Well, whatever.
Because all I get on mine is just articles from Breitbart. That's it.
Breitbart, you need to do something about your ridiculous ads. Okay. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle calls assassination attempt the most significant failure in decades, but still won't resign.
Yeah, exactly.
There is something about her. I don't know what it is, but she looks like she's just like, I don't know, like that principal at your school that is like hates all the kids. Like a really mean teacher.
That's a good one.
For whatever reason, she just thinks that she's right no matter what. Doesn't matter how wrong she is. Yeah.
These people have no self-awareness, no accountability. They think like whenever anything goes wrong, it's not their fault.
Awful. Okay, we got the SEAL Heidi Klum ad again. Fantastic. All right. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle called her agency's failure to protect President Donald Trump on July 13th rally in Pennsylvania the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades. We actually played that clip, right, since the assassination attempt on Reagan. And yet she won't resign. Well, actually, you did make a good point, which was that she shouldn't resign. She should be fired. But we know there's no accountability in the Biden administration, so it's not going to happen. Did you have thoughts on this before we jump into the next one?
No, yeah, I exactly right. She should be fired. She should have been fired a few days after it happened, but I said it too. I was like, nobody pays for anything. Nobody is accountable for anything in that administration. So it's not unexpected. It's not surprising. So,
Half Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumps in with $5 and says, family calls you an idiot until you make it, and then we are so proud of you. We knew you could do it. That actually happened. That actually happened to me. Exactly. That's funny. Yeah. My family was always annoyed with me because I was never really able to be the success that I had intended to become, because I was always trying to make movies. And the reason I was trying to make movies, I think, primarily is because I wanted to try to shift the culture in some way. And I felt like movies were a very powerful instrument to do that. Yeah. Even when I was like a little kid, I recognized the power of filmmaking. And I was like, I want to write movies that like change people's brains a little bit and help them to become, at least see the world in a way that makes a little bit more sense or makes them think about things or something. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And I was really unable to break into the film industry. I mean, I was doing a little bit of acting, and that was working out for me. But yeah, the writing, I couldn't get anybody to read my scripts, anything. And I started this show. And the show did pretty well even from the very beginning, and I kind of knew it was going to become a big deal. And then I did the AOC video, and it just was like, it was like a nuclear explosion. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, this guy's the new big thing!" And I got on all these shows. I was on Glenn Beck's show. I was on all these big shows, and it was a lot of fun writing that sort of wave of initial success. And we've developed it into something I think relatively significant here. But yeah, it was interesting because now all of my family now watches the show, even though, and I mean my extended family, like my aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff, they'll have watched episodes of my show, and they'll write, occasionally I'll hear back from like my mother, who'll be like, "Oh, I was talking to your aunt and she was talking about your show." And I'm like, they know about my show? Like they've never mentioned it to me once that they've ever watched my show, but my mom will come back and, "Oh yeah, we were talking about it and they said they were watching it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's a little bit weird. I didn't even know they even knew I had a show." It was weird because it was kind of the first time that I went back home for Christmas and my family wasn't like, "You're a huge disappointment." It was like, "Hey, so how's the show going?" Half Power Concrete Simplified Crawfish Company, absolutely right. That's pretty funny.
About the writing thing and wanting to do something in movies to change minds and stuff. I agree, because that's what I was in it for. And it's funny, like the people now, the filmmakers now, the young filmmakers now, I would talk to them and I would always ask them, like, they would tell me stories and scripts, and I would ask them, "What's the moral of the story?" And they would never have an answer. They wouldn't, like, they're like, "What, a moral? You need a moral in a movie?" Because that's what I was always about. Whenever I wrote something, I was like, there has to be a moral to the story. Like, it just can't be for nothing. I think that's the issue with it.
Or at least, but here's the thing: you can skip the moral of a story if it's thought provoking enough, if it inspires an interesting. I think like it's an intellectual exercise for people to think through, like episodes of The Twilight Zone is how I kind of grew up learning to write. And those episodes, they sometimes have a moral, which is amazing. When they have a moral, I think they're the best that they are. But sometimes it just makes you think about something you hadn't thought about before. And those were also very powerful. So there's different ways to do it. But I think a lot of writing today is very empty. All right, let's look at this this article here. It says, whether Harris knew of Biden's decline or didn't, she's unfit to be president. That is such a great point. This is from the Federalist. Federalist is amazing, by the way. Federalist produces some really good stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
This person writes, Vice President Kamala Harris helped cover up the severe cognitive and physical decline of her boss for 4 years, or maybe she actually didn't know about it. Either way, her handling of the crisis disqualifies her to be commander-in-chief for the next 4 years. She knew.
Mm-hmm.
She knew. Let's be honest. She knew. You know. Anyway, why'd you pick that one?
The X post at the end is pretty good. You should read that.
Okay, let me jump back in here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is from Mike Lee. Mike Lee usually posts some good stuff. He writes, if she didn't know of Biden's condition all along, then by repeatedly and emphatically telling us that Biden was fit for office, she lied in order to keep him and her in power. That, too, should disqualify her from ascending to the presidency. Best case scenario for Kamala, if somehow she was in the dark about his condition and somehow believed in good faith that Biden was just fine, then she was naive to the point of being reckless. That should also disqualify her from ascending to the presidency. Yeah, I mean, if she was such an idiot that she couldn't tell that Biden had cognitive decline, yeah, she doesn't deserve to be president. But that's not true. I mean, that's obviously a hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly.
She knew. Of course she knew, and she covered it up.
Yeah.
Because like you said, she wanted to stay in power.
Yeah. In other words, either way, it looks bad for her.
It does look bad for her, but we know the truth, right? We know the truth, which is that she covered it up. She was lying to the American people. In fact, that's actually a really good line for Trump to use in the next debate. Why did you lie to the American people about Joe Biden's cognitive decline? It's very obvious that he's cognitive decline, and you always said that he was super sharp and a great leader and all this absolute nonsense. You were complicit in this lie. It was actually a pretty big conspiracy, actually.
Yeah, Biden dropping out like this has brought everything out. Like, it's beautiful, like the hypocrisy. And because I remember Rush Limbaugh, the late great Rush Limbaugh, used to always say about the Democrats that hypocrisy never affects them. Like, their hypocrisy never affects them. And he was right. But like, what's going on now, man, I wish he was alive, man. What's going on now, the hypocrisy is starting to stick and hit them.
For the first time ever. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what I've noticed? This is a little bit of a tangent, but the left can't seem to attack us like we attack them anymore. The left used to be so much better at attacking us because what would happen is we would say, look, take the high road. We're good Christians. We're good people. We don't do the sort of like nasty, horrible things that the left does. And the left would basically say anything that we do is fine because we're essentially hedonistic atheists. But anything that you do that's even slightly bad is pure evil because you are hypocrites, right? You're saying that you should be perfect people, but you did something that's slightly bad. But something happened in the last 10 years or so where people figured out that that's kind of BS. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Everybody does make mistakes, actually. And we live in a world now that's it's difficult not to make mistakes because, it's just, the world is kind of an evil place now. So like navigating through this evil place is like a little bit difficult. And so we've kind of normalized not being perfect, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just, this is the way it is. But what's allowed us to do politically is to say, okay, yeah, maybe we make some mistakes, but at least we're trying. At least we're trying to do the right thing. At least we're trying to make America a better place. And we're trying to improve the quality of life of all Americans. You're not even trying. If anything, you're trying to make it worse. You open up the border like lunatics. You've created this skyrocketing inflation. You've created all these policies that have just destroyed America. And it's like, you can't compare this group that occasionally makes a minor mistake with this group that seems to be intentionally destroying America. Like, there's no comparison, which one that we want in office. So the left is definitely, the weird thing about the left is they've gotten so crazy lately. It used to be that they would lie about what they're doing, and they were pretty effective at lying, right? So they could actually convince people that, oh no, this is a good policy and this is actually going to improve the country and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think their lies are effective at all anymore. They've gone so far into crazy land.
Yeah.
Like this idea that a man can be a woman just by saying that he's a woman. Nobody really believes that. I mean, even the people that are on X going, yeah, if you don't believe that, you're a bigot. Not even they really believe it. Not deep down. They know it's BS.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
all to say. We're not even like the party of like the religious, moral people anymore. I think the Republicans and the conservatives are the party of common sense now. It's just
yeah, common sense and rationality.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like logic.
And people are seeing it like that. People are seeing that.
You know what the word is actually? Pragmatism. You know what pragmatism means?
Pragmatism.
Pragmatism means practicality. So we're just practical people at this point. You know, it's like there's a practical way of looking at the world and there's an impractical way. You know, it's like I was saying on the show the other day, in Hollywood films, they now always put women in the place of men, right? So they're like the woman is I was trying to watch the new Beverly Hills Cop movie on Netflix. It's called Axel F.
Uh-huh.
You know, Axel Foley.
Yep.
And it's mostly about his daughter. And they have this sort of, and she's this sort of Mary Sue type character. So he goes in and he does his typical thing where he's trying to persuade the concierge at this like fancy club. You got to let me upstairs because like I'm the fire marshal and I'm going to look at blah, blah, blah. And he's not really doing his normal good job at it. And his daughter comes in and she like saves him. Like she's better at it than he is, you know, sort of like the Indiana Jones thing where the girl was better at everything than Indiana Jones was, that kind of thing. And I just felt like, why are you writing this? Because there were some decent things in that script, but I felt like, why didn't you let me write this? Like I could have made this such a great sequel for you. And for some reason, it's like this half-baked script that's like kind of good, but in the end, it just doesn't work because they brought in this daughter character who ends up kind of like being the heroine essentially, but like she doesn't have anything like the charm of Eddie Murphy. The reason those films really work, even the bad ones, is that Eddie Murphy is so charming. You still like to watch it, even if the writing's not that good. But if you take him and push him to the side and you make the daughter the central character, well, you lose all that Eddie Murphy charm. Like that's the whole point of the movies is the Eddie Murphy charm. And what's weird though is like, okay, that's just like the Mary Sue type woman, but they've also got all these things in films now, these like leftist ideas about the world, you know. Actually, you know who makes really great fathers? Black guys. According to Hollywood, the best fathers in the world are always black guys. Like, come on, welcome to reality, guys. It's not, I mean, wake up, all right? It's just like, if you go around the world, I mean, you even talk to black guys and ask them, who makes the best fathers? Black guys are not going to say black guys. You know what I mean? Like, the ones who are good fathers, of course, are good fathers. I don't want to diminish the good fathers out there who happen to be black guys. But, you know, like, you know who's the really nicest people in customer service? Fat black women. In movies, they're very, very kind. In reality, maybe not so much, you know. And you know who make the toughest, most badass snipers and cops and other, you know, firemen and always 5'2" women. Yeah. They're the best with absolutely zero musculature. They're amazing. They could just knock a guy out in one punch. They're fantastic, you know. So they're always trying. But here's the thing. Now they used to do stuff like this, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or other kinds of fiction where you would get these female heroines, and it was believable. But the reason it was believable was because the film or the writing or whatever it was, it recognized the absurdity of this notion, right? So this was always something that was recognized within the writing as unusual. It was a contrast to reality, and they understood that. It's like if a little kid is drawing a picture of his family, right? And a house and the green grass and a tree and everything and the sunshine and everything. But for some reason, he draws the sky as red. You'd be like, why did you draw the sky as the sky's blue, right? And the kid goes,
I'd be like, what's wrong with my kid?
Exactly.
What's wrong with my kid?
Now, if the kid said something like, well, this is us living on Mars, you'd go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or if the kid says,
I'd be like, whew, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Or the kid was like, oh, this is like a sunset. Then you go, okay, cool. Like if you watch a movie like what was it, Highlander 2 or The Matrix or something, yeah, the sky's like messed up. Well, why is the sky like red, for instance? Like, why is the sky red? Well, there's like the atmosphere was destroyed, or you know, they're on another planet or something like this. If there's a good reason for it, then you believe it in the movie. There's a reason for it. But if you imagine watching a movie, like a normal movie where the husband's going to work and the wife is taking care of the kids. It's old-fashioned, normal stuff set in the 1950s, whatever. But the sky's red, and there's no explanation for it at all. And when you ask the filmmakers, they go, well, it's just that the sky is red. Doesn't everybody know that? The sky's red. Well, no, the sky's not red.
Chris.
Okay, the sky is not red. The sky's blue, you morons.
The 50s were misogynistic, so I wanted to represent that in the sky.
No, the point I'm trying to make is they don't even.
I'm just saying that,
like with
some idiot
with
would
the
say
women,
that.
with the tough women, and pretending that the different races are completely different than they are, and all this kind of stuff. Hollywood presents these social ideas as if they're normal. Being fat is totally healthy, and this kind of thing. They present this stuff as if it's normal because they're trying to normalize ideas that are absurd. Ideas that are absurd. They're constantly they're putting in all these trans characters as heroes now. Gay characters are always heroes, and it's like how many people that you meet that are super heroic trans people. I've never met one. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
The new writers and the new people doing these movies, it's pretty much self-inserts. Back in the day, in the 80s,
because they're hiring these people behind the scenes. It's true.
Yeah, but none of these writers, none of these filmmakers in the 80s did self-inserts. If you saw the filmmaker and the movies or the stories they made, it was a complete opposite of what those people actually look like in real life or were in real life, But now these people are just self-inserting themselves and they're making these lame characters and these lame movies because representation.
Yeah, and actually, I'll tell you what. I think that writing a character who is, maybe a little bit unique or different than what you might expect in real life can actually be fine. Like I said, like with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they recognize that was an unusual quality in a woman, that she had this absurd physical strength or whatever. Like if I did write a really great, if I wrote a script and I wrote this really great father who was this black guy, really great man, I think that would actually be totally believable and reasonable because I'm not delusional about reality. I'm not trying to sell you on this as every guy is like this. If I wrote the super nice fat black woman working at, the DMV, I think actually my character would come across as real because I'm not trying to sell you on something that's BS, right? I just wanted to write an interesting character for whatever reason, right? I have no agenda there. So I think that somebody like me who's trying to relay the world in the world of my fiction as realistically as possible, I think that I'm going to do a better job than these DEI people are, creating these illusions. So I'm not saying that this is completely impossible. I'm just saying the way they're going at it, it makes it terrible. But it's all about the way you perceive the world. And I think that people are, I don't know if they're intentionally doing this, but they perceive the world incorrectly. Mauricio91 jumps in. He says, let me just read this super chat. He says, Democrats and feminism lost the black male vote. Chuckles supported the 94 bill aimed at black males, and we haven't forgotten Dems need us to be deaf, dumb, and blind. It's very true, man. And also it has to do with, I think, a little bit of this infantilization of black people on the left, where they look at black people and they go, oh, they're inferior to us, so that we have to be nice to them. I absolutely find that to be the most disgusting racist crap ever.
Yep. I hate that.
Some black people are stupid, some white people are stupid. Some black people are awesome, some white people are awesome. Again,
and all Democrats are dumb.
But I always say, I said this on my show since I started the show. And this is the Republican view, and this is my view, and I think this is how everyone should view everyone. You got to look at people as individuals. You don't look at their immutable characteristics. You don't look at the groups that they're in. You can be part of whatever group. I don't care, just so long as I like you personally. Maybe I don't like you personally, but at least I perceiving you as a person and not as a part of this larger group that I don't think most of the groups that we're in don't necessarily epitomize who we are. Yeah, some people fit the perfect stereotype of whatever that group is, but I think that's relatively rare.
Yeah.
Look at people as the people they are. Big Lou 85 jumps in with $20.
Wait, I got, let me just, before you go down, I just have one point I don't want to forget about the whole movie thing. Notice how in the 80s and the 70s and even the early 90s, Hollywood was kind of conservative, like the filmmakers and all that. They weren't that crazy.
For sure.
So conservatives were always good at writing like kind of more liberal characters and making movies more on that side.
For
Like
sure.
they made great movies, but you notice when
Yeah.
leftists and liberals try to write movies about a more of a conservative thing, it's like crazy. Like these people are just crazy,
hateful,
and
nasty.
yeah, and you can see the two opposites. Like they're not able to like get their thoughts, the way they see people, the way they think. They're not able to get out of that, you know. And I think that's
with
in
a
general
few notable exceptions, I would say. With a few notable exceptions,
Yeah.
I would say Richard Donner was pretty good at writing conservative characters. I mean, he didn't
But
necessarily
that's
write the
back in
scripts
the
that he
day.
was creating. You know,
But that's also back in the day.
but Richard Donner was definitely a leftist, and he was. I mean, if you think of like Murtaugh, you know, he was like the ultimate traditional family man, right? And Riggs was like, I would say, like your ultimate sort of like masculine right-wing hero. Like, yeah, sure, they did the whole thing with the South African script, you know, thing, and I think the second movie, but at the end of the day, these guys would today be considered like extreme right-wing MAGA Republicans.
Exactly.
Both of them, even Murtaugh as well, the black dad, you know. But those are great characters, and that was a left-wing director. And then
but remember,
Superman.
you give Richard Donner a credit, but remember there was a lot of talented people in the industry back then. So
that's true, and he didn't write those scripts.
Of course, the director skill with him was great, but remember there's a whole team behind that.
True that,
and
absolutely right. Absolutely
now it's just all out leftists.
Big Lou 85 jumps in $20. He says, "Remember those videos spoiled children that got away with everything? The comments were people saying to spank their children and give them consequences. Well, those kids are grown up now and infesting the left." That's probably true, actually. That's probably what happened. Is like when we were growing up, the kids that didn't get spanked, those are the ones that are heading up the DEI garbage today. All right, let's jump into the next story if we have one. This is a great one. This is a great one, you guys. I was actually going to do a video on this. I still will, but I wanted to share it with you guys first. Let's go ahead and watch this.
And I'm going to say what a lot of these folks.
I only play videos of AOC because I'm secretly in love with her, as we all know. All conservative men who criticize AOC.
I think AOC is the one non-Russian that you actually love.
No, yeah, exactly.
If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken.
So I'm sorry it's so quiet, but basically she's saying that not everybody is actually supporting Kamala. I'll keep playing. Hold on.
And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Okay, so this is one of these weird moments when AOC is actually saying something that's somewhat valuable for us, right? She's saying kind of like saying the quiet part out loud, which is that these people have a very specific interest in these back rooms, as she's calling them. They have very specific interests in who becomes president. It's essentially an oligarchy making these decisions. Because at no point does she say these people are concerned that, you know, this is not the best pick for the American people, right? Or this isn't who the Democrat voters want, or something like that. She's not saying that. She's basically saying like these people have a very specific interest in who they want to basically put up, because they're stripping out Joe Biden, who and a lot of people are saying, oh, this is not democratic because the people voted for Joe Biden and now you're just stripping him out. Did the people vote for Joe Biden? Exactly. Jason, did the people vote for Joe Biden? Because I remember the Democrat primary back in 2000. What was it? The 2020 election, when Joe Biden wasn't even polling well. Like, he wasn't doing well at all. And he lost like the first couple of primaries. I think it was like the Iowa caucus and New Hampshire. He like lost both of those. And then suddenly he like won by a landslide like every other state after that.
Yeah.
And it seemed pretty obvious to most of us that this was rigged. Like, they had rigged it completely. Like, the Democrats had gone and they said, Joe Biden's our guy. So we don't care what the vote is of the Democrat voters. We're picking Joe. And the Democrat voters just kind of went, okay, I guess we'll go along with this. Yeah. You know, because the reason that they gave for that, by the way, is that they said that Joe Biden was the most electable candidate against Donald Trump, which I don't even think that was true. I think the reason they picked him is because he was the one that they could control the easiest. I think that was the only reason that he was chosen. So the Democrat Party doesn't really have, I should do a video on this actually. The Democrat, I mean, like I said, I was going to anyway, but the more I talk about it, the more I realize how good this video is. But yeah, I don't think they ever had a really a proper primary for Joe Biden. And then this time around, because he was president, he was the incumbent. He was just sort of like, he was the guy. They never really had a primary. So he just kind of coasted in there. And so this idea that they can basically put him in, and now they're essentially taking him out, and that this is now somehow a betrayal of Democrat voters. No, they betrayed the Democrat voters early on, like in the first place. So yeah, of course the oligarchy on the left is going to take Joe out if they don't think that he's the best candidate there that they have, you know.
Yeah. The Democrats have never really had their true candidate, because even when in 2016 they cheated,
Hillary.
With Hillary, because it was supposed to be Bernie.
Bernie Sanders got screwed over. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Well, okay, so but also on Joe Scarborough's show, Joe Scarborough actually came out at one point. I have this recorded somewhere on my computer. I'm going to go ahead and post it with this video that I'm making. He comes out and he goes, "There are people that have a financial interest in taking Joe Biden out of the race, or trying to convince Joe Biden to step down or something like that." That's what he said specifically. Now, or maybe, oh no, he was trying to suggest that Joe Biden should step down, and he was saying there are people with a financial interest in keeping Joe in. Now, this is something I have been saying for years. Okay, which is that there are these shady characters, billionaires, people that are connected to Wall Street, other politicians, the permanent bureaucracy in DC, what we call the deep state, right? Who have undue influence on who becomes president and, you know, the machinations in DC. And these people, how would they possibly have a financial interest in who is president? How would they possibly have a financial interest? The only way they have a financial interest is through corruption. That's the only way. You can't make money on who is the president. You know, I mean, maybe in the betting markets or something, but you can't. There's no way to make money off of this guy being president or that guy being president unless that president is doing things specifically to make you money. That is what we call corruption. So Joe Scarborough inadvertently on his own dang show blurted out, you know, said the unspeakable thing, right? Said the quiet part out loud. He said that there are people with a financial interest in keeping Joe Biden in office. I'm telling you guys, he was the ultimate puppet. He was there for a reason. And now they want Kamala in there for the same reason. That's what I think. Or they want Hillary in there for the same reason, you know, depending on who they think. I think it's Hillary that they really want, but it is what it is. Yeah.
By the way, we said on Thursday that Biden will drop out before the weekend because
that was the rumor.
Because Trump's speech, and we were saying because of Trump's speech, the news has to be taken away from Trump, and it has been. It has been.
Well, what happened, you know, was funny because up until the last live stream that we did, I have never said I think that Joe Biden will step down. I've always maintained Joe Biden will step down. And that was the first time I went, you know what? I think he's going to go now. Like, things changed, right? Things changed when Trump got shot, actually. Things changed massively at that point. That completely altered the landscape of politics in D.C. And so up until that point, I don't think he was going to go. Even with the dementia, even with the debate did get me thinking like, oh man, he may have to go at this point, after the debate. But they all doubled down, and I thought,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
this control they have over who's president is so strong that even when Joe Biden shows that he's senile to the world, not just to the country, but the whole world
Yep.
saw that. I'm talking to people from all over the world right now, and they're saying, I've seen some clips.
Yeah.
Whew, Joe Biden,
Yeah.
man, what is he doing? So
I think
everybody
that's when the
goes,
Civil War started.
what?
I think that's when the Civil War started, after the debate.
Oh, you
within
mean
the
after? You mean
Democratic Party.
within
Yeah.
the deep state? Within the deep
Yeah.
state? Yeah. Okay, you got to be a little bit more clear what you're talking about, Jason. The Civil War happened in the 1800s. Okay.
Yes, you're right.
I'm like, is that a joke about his age? I don't understand what's happening. There's also the potential Civil War that would have occurred if they had actually killed Donald Trump, or if they steal the election.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's many civil wars you could be talking about. You're talking about the Civil War within the deep
Definitely.
state.
Yeah, I think after the debate, there was definitely
That's
the
where it
Civil War
really
started.
kicked off,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, that is when people really started splitting off, and there was a lot of pressure on Joe Biden. But yeah, they stayed strong up until the point that Trump got shot. That was really the turning point. That was the one moment where I thought, dang, I could start to see things shifting, and I think Joe Biden might drop out. And it turned out that I was right. Hoff Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumps in with another $2. He says that AOC is a special kind of stupid. That is true. That is accurate. Thank you, sir. But we are all secretly in love with her, according to her, in her own mind. All right, let's move on to the next story. She is a bit of fun, but do we have anything else?
The crazy guy.
Oh, the crazy guy. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, that was the one that I originally. So this is all out of order. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. All right, you guys. This is an actual Biden supporter. Some people think it's fake. Sorry. All right, let's go ahead and play this guy. Because this guy's a little kooky. He claims to be a Biden supporter. I don't know if anybody believes this, but if this guy's legitimate, actually, this is kind of what I would think a Biden supporter would be.
He dropped out! He dropped out! Joe Biden, please! Gen Z, we need to band together. Please. He was for Gen Z's first president.
Okay, so a lot of people are saying this is really bad acting. I disagree. I think it's actually reasonably good acting. He's acting like a lunatic. I believe it. And look, the guy
By the way,
did. Yeah.
By the way, he's wearing a Sean John shirt, I believe.
What is it?
Sean John. Isn't that P. Diddy's brand?
Oh, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Is that?
I just noticed that right now, and I'm like, okay.
Is that Sean John, the shirt? Okay, fair enough. Look, the truth is, this guy had to set up his camera, and he had to prepare. This is what I'm gonna say, and I have to act a little crazy, right? So obviously, this is acting, right? But I suppose the question is, does he really feel this way? And I think that he kind of does. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know why you would care about Joe Biden. I understand that you would be this. If you genuinely believe the news media about Donald Trump and you think Donald Trump is the great evil that they pretend that he is, I could understand you going crazy about Donald Trump potentially winning. But why would anybody feel this bad about Biden dropping out? I mean, has this guy really been convinced that Biden is a good president and a good man and all this kind of thing? I don't really get
don't
this.
care. They don't care. It was to put it in our faces. It was to go against Trump. They don't care. They're just pissed off.
But do you think that this guy is just But why would he even? I mean, I understand that he's an attention seeker. I mean, this is on TikTok. He's trying to get views. But I don't get this. I don't even understand it.
You're trying to get a mental disease.
You think the guy's just like a lunatic?
Most of them are like it's just. I think it's real. I'm not gonna say 100%, but I just think they're angry. They're angry because this is the guy that was supposed to beat Trump a second time, and they're pissed off that that's not going to happen.
So you do
now.
think that you think this is real? This is sort of what this guy really thinks, but it's drawn from this hatred of Trump more than it is an enthusiasm.
Of course,
for Biden.
That's what it is. It's TDS.
But they've got Kamala now, so it's somebody else going up against Trump.
I'm telling you, they people know Kamala doesn't have a chance. Kamala doesn't have a chance. You know, they know it. They know it. They know it's over.
Jason, get it right, racist.
They know Kamala doesn't have a chance. And they know it's over. They know it's over.
Ooh, Carmelo. Carmelo sounds good. Isn't that like a male version of? I don't know. What was it? What's that? Didn't they have like a chocolate bar in the 90s called Caramello? You don't remember that?
Sounds
I'll have
familiar.
to look it up. Anyway, I don't really have all that much to say anymore. I feel like we've reached peak insanity with the left actually supporting Joe Biden. The left never supported Joe Biden. The left supported a hatred of Donald Trump.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only thing that they supported. They didn't care about.
Exactly.
Biden was only a tool to try to get Trump out, and he wasn't even a good one. He was just anyway. I don't know. What do you think about? Okay, so we don't really believe. I mean, there are these prediction markets. Let's see if I can actually find one of these. There are these prediction markets that say that Donald Trump is, pretty far ahead of Kamala. Like that, like they haven't really moved that much. Have you heard about these?
No, I've heard of that he polls good against Carmela.
It's not polling though. This isn't polling. Hold on, I got to turn on a VPN in order to get access to this site. It's not polling. It's to win money. They're basically saying we think this person's going to win, and okay. So what it looks like now. Let me go ahead and post this screen for you guys. Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Son of a gun. Present, screen share, predict it. Boom. All right, so you see here, this is one of the prediction markets. This is one out of Ireland called Predict It. And they've got Donald Trump at 60 cents, and now they've got Kamala Harris up to 42 cents. Which is pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. So she's doing a lot better than I thought she would do. 42.
So this is a bet, huh?
These are people betting their own money on who's going to win and become the next president. I assume the vast majority of those 42, people believing that Kamala Harris is going to win, getting her up to 42 there. I'm pretty sure that they're betting on her because they believe that the election will be rigged.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was like, I should bet. I should put some money on Kamala.
No. I think Trump's gonna win. But you can see that it looks like things have been closing slowly. Is that what this is? Let's see here. This is Trump. Trump's gone down ever so slightly in the last few days. He went up again. Well, what's the 13th? Let's go to a 30-day thing. Okay, so there's a big jump here on So on the 12th and then boom, the 13th. That was the day he got shot, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then it continued to go up. This must have been like, I wonder when the debate was. It was somewhere back here probably. So then it goes up, then he gets shot. Boom, 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 boom. Goes right up to 69 cents, the highest it was. And Biden went down. Oh, this is Harris. This is never Biden. Oh, there's RFK. Well, where's Biden? They don't have Biden in here? Yeah. Let's throw Biden in. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Really? Harris was Harris was essentially tied with Biden way back here. All right, so this must have been the debate back here, right?
Uh-huh.
So this was the debate, and then
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom,
definitely,
Biden just
definitely,
drops
yeah.
off the planet, and we know he's basically not going to win. And then people started actually predicting back in like the 4th of July time, the 4th of July till like the 10th, that actually Kamala Harris was polling or doing better in these markets than Joe Biden. That's pretty crazy. But Biden was still doing okay right here up until July 16th. And that was just after the height of Donald Trump's, after he'd been shot. And so what happened here? Because Biden only announced today that he's leaving, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well,
So
Sunday,
why
right?
did this drop off then? Did people have inside information?
What day is that?
It says the 16th of July to the 17th. So the 17th is when people seem to lose total confidence in Joe Biden and think he's going to completely fail. But now today it's like zero.
Oh, maybe that was the whole COVID, that he's sick with COVID.
So people, they thought he was going to die?
I think they thought, oh, it's over. This is like so obvious what's going on.
But then Kamala went up. Kamala went up here on the 17th. Some people knew something, dude. They had to have. This is weird, you guys, because I'm like, I didn't expect to see this kind of thing. I just, on a whim, threw this up here. What the hell happened on the 17th? Can somebody in the comment section speculate about that? Because I don't know what the hell happened, but Kamala Harris
17 was a Wednesday.
Some people knew what was going on.
And Trump didn't even speak.
That was when
Trump didn't even speak yet.
I don't know what the heck's going on. Okay, so then you had Kamala Harris go up a little bit, drop a little bit, and then go right back up. I don't know. Something happened on that day. So now we've got Kamala Harris at 40 cents. I think this is essentially the peak of what she's going to get. I don't think it's going to get anything better than that. And then, obviously, a few people are predicting that Trump, is not doing quite as well. But I think Trump's going to continue to go up, and Kamala Harris is going to drop off here in a minute.
I think last week, people just knew after the assassination attempt that
maybe
Biden will probably drop out or something. I think they just knew it.
Yeah, that's just how people were thinking. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's just that just could be a coincidence that there was just this swap right before the.
After all this, Biden dropping out and all that, my confidence has skyrocketed of a Trump victory. It's never. I've never felt this
really
confident. No.
Well, as you know, I've thought from the beginning of this campaign season that Trump is going to win. So it's fun. It's great to have you on board, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm on board now because I seriously, I thought they were going to really go do a massive cheat. They still are. So remember, I got to repeat this all the time. Still go out and vote early.
You still got to go out and vote. Yeah.
I just think it's over now. I think it's over. I think after him dropping out, that's it. It's my confidence has skyrocketed.
Half Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company commenting on the lunatic video says it is real to him, her / they, because these clowns do not live in reality. So true. So very true. Okay. So that's great. Guys, we just heard a bombshell from Jason, which is that he has finally been white-pilled. He actually believes that Trump will win the election in 2024. Again, you guys got to go out and vote. We all got to vote, obviously. But holy crap.
My confidence is
Jason over.
Yeah. I'm confident. Yeah.
We're going to win. Fight. Go buy my fight merch at my Teespring store, which is in the comment section below. Not the comment section, the description below. You can get it. My fight merch is the best. Should I pop that up as a last thing? I know that's a really seemingly narcissistic thing, but I just can I not just want to celebrate?
Of course. We support capitalism. Chris.
But it's not just capitalism because I don't really make that much money on it. I just love the.
Well, yeah, it's a support for everything that we love. Like you see people wearing those shirts outside is great. It's gonna be that'll be.
I
awesome.
just want to celebrate that moment.
Yep.
That moment of Trump victory. All right, so I don't know where I can't find it, but
a lot of people in the comments are just don't believe it. They still think the cheat's going to be overwhelming, and
really,
you know what, guys? I would agree with you if Biden didn't drop out, and everything that's happening now, even the assassination attempt. I would kind of agree with you, but man, I think most of the nation is going to go out and vote for Trump, and I mean, I think it's going to be overwhelmed. I don't think there's going to be enough that they can cheat to steal this from him.
Yeah, because I think people are just going to stay home.
Yeah, I think a lot of Democrats are going to stay home. Yep.
All right, so this is one of my fight shirts, the black and white version. You can get a mug, you can get a T-shirt, whatever it is. I've also got the color version. I quite like the black and white one, but the color one's really cool too. That's the color.
Yeah,
one,
I like that.
the color one. It's got that
Yeah,
sort of like 1980s poster look, like it's from like a Rocky type poster or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know why.
That's a good idea. We should make a movie poster version.
I don't know why it's in blue and not black. I wanted it in black for the display. I don't know how to change that.
A movie poster.
What do you mean a movie? I mean, I did make it as a poster. You can buy this as a poster.
But like the actual writing, like it's a movie and.
Oh, you mean like put the stuff? Yeah, this is the poster here, which you can buy, which is super overpriced. If you want a poster for $20, it should be 10 or something. But whatever, it is what it is. I don't really get to set the prices.
Is that why I haven't gotten my cup yet?
Yeah, I don't want to buy. I don't want to. No, because I actually, whatever. It's fine. I'll send you a cup. I just have been lazy.
The toxic masculinity.
I love these. There's a toxic masculinity one here. That one's fun. But anyway, yeah, I'm just sort of like, I want that actually. I want that toxic masculinity.
I want that
one. That looks cool, man. All right, I'll send you some stuff, man. All right, that's it for us. Oh, hold on. There's another super chat. There's 2 more super chats. Oh, no, there's just one. From Joe. Thank you, Joe. He says, look up Biden AI. Kamala was speaking to him. Sounds like AI. And at the end said, I know you're still on the call. Look it up, please. Yes, I have seen that video. At one point, she's supposed to be on the phone with Joe Biden. And she says, record. I'm in the call. She almost says recording.
You have to send me that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
I'll
that.
send it to you. Yeah. It's pretty new. It's like within the last hour. It came on X. But anyway, all right. Well, that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We both positive. We think that this is going to be a Trump victory in November, but obviously there's work to do. I'm going to be producing a ton of videos between now and then. I'm just going to be pumping them out every day, I think. And be sure to buy all of our merch. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. I kind of fumbled that at time, but I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden or Kamala. Oh, and remember, guys, I'm trying to think of a Kamala type thing to say to end it. We got to appreciate the thinking about dignity, and the way that we run the country will be dignified, and in the ways that we think about dignity is also a form of dignity. So on that note, we're going to end with a little bit of dignity. Good night.